Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of this podcast, which is called How to Be Narcissistic Kryptonite. It's something that I've been thinking about picking up again. It's something I've done once before and sort of it turned into something else. I left it behind, but now I want to reintegrate it. And it's about, it's basically going to be looking at different mental health conditions, talking about what they are and practical tips on how to battle them, I guess. So today is going to be, even though the title says about narcissism, I feel like I've talked a lot about that already on my other podcasts, The Blueprint, also Phoenix Rising, and then also on my Facebook page called How to Be Narcissistic Kryptonite. So I don't really want to repeat myself, so I'm just going to change focus and just talk about other mental health conditions in general. By the way, for those who don't know me, my name is Siobhan. I'm I'm a lot of things. I'm an author, psychologist, spiritual healer, tarot reader, psychic, also looking into different skills and lots of arts and crafts. I do a lot of arts and crafts, different things. I'm still sort of exploring my skills. I am a medical doctor as well. I went through medical school, but the thing is that was something I never really wanted to do. I had a lot of external pressures from my family, and also internal pressures in terms of my fear of not being able to be successful or make money from my arts and crafts, and sort of worries that financially I wouldn't be able to support myself, that stopped me from pursuing my passions the way I wish I could have. And now I'm realizing that going into training as a doctor would rob me of the time and energy I would love to spend doing the things I do actually love, which is not being a doctor. So having said all of that, I want to turn to the first topic that I've picked up, which is body dysmorphia. So I just want to talk about what it is quickly. So it's a mental health condition when someone is very preoccupied by perceived flaws in their appearance, and these flaws are usually either unnoticeable or very minor to other people. So that's kind of the sign. Hold on. Okay, so you would have an obsessive focus on your appearance if you have this. So you might be spending hours worrying about some body part. For example, it could be about excessive weight, or it could be about your skin, your hair, your nose. And you could have, compulsive behaviors like checking mirrors a lot, or asking people around you, or do I look okay, or, continuously seeking reassurance, excessively grooming yourself, picking at your skin, comparing yourself to others. And these thoughts and behaviors, could be leading to a lot of anxiety. You might feel depression, and in general, maybe impacting your daily life, your relationships, work, school, etc. And common signs are basically believing that there's something wrong about your looks, or something ugly, or, you don't feel like you look good, even though other people don't believe this. You might be avoiding mirrors, photographs, or in general socializing because you feel that kind of fear of judgment, or you feel like you're not good enough, you don't like to be seen. You might also be spending a lot of time and energy trying to hide or fix the flaw that you think there is. So that could be in terms of wearing clothing that hide your body, or using a lot of makeup and going through a lot of cosmetic procedures like, sort of Botox, or changing sort of things about you that don't, like breast implants, all sorts of things. I saw a video yesterday about breast implants and about this person shaming someone they're in a relationship with because of their small chest, and then that being a good reason for them to then go and have a breast implant, instead of asking, well, why is this person that I'm in a relationship judging me for my body, for what size my breasts are? And I was just like, why is this advertisement even allowed to be on here, on Facebook, which is where I was on? And yeah, I spent about 5 minutes feeling disgusted with that, with the whole setup, and the fact that, you know, this person you're in a relationship with is looking at your chest and saying, oh, they're too small, and so, oh, there's the solution, we'll get implants in. Yeah, no, that's not the solution. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. That is the root of the problem. Like letting other people tell you how your body should be. If someone wants to be with you, they need to accept you for the way you are, exactly. And for that, you need to first accept yourself for the way you are. And that is how you need to start thinking. You need to start looking at your body and start loving it. And that is something that I had to learn, because I have been where you are. I've always self-conscious about my weight. I've always hated going out, hated the way I looked, hated never being able to find clothes that I liked, or if I like clothes, they never fit. So I even stopped going shopping, because I knew that whatever I liked would never be there in my size. And even if it was, I wouldn't like the way I looked in it. Even if other people would tell me, you look fine, you look good, I couldn't see that when I look in the mirror. And that is exactly how body dysmorphia is. And the only cure to that is actually changing the way you think about your body. So that is basically what cognitive behavior therapy is. You change your thoughts, that's the cognition part. And by changing your thoughts, you're able to change your behavior. So you change the way you think about, let's stick to the breast thing. Stop thinking my breasts are too small, and you start appreciating that everyone is unique. Everyone, you know, like, let me come back to my own example. I also used to feel like my breasts are too small, and I used to feel bad about that. I used to wish they were bigger. But then I started realizing there's nothing wrong with how I am, exactly how I am. And there's no way that I'm going to go out and change how I am so that I would look better to other people. First, I should learn to love myself the way I am. And that is what I do now. I am the shape that I am, and this is the body that I've been given. And I would like to be happy with what I have, rather than looking at what other people have and looking at what I don't have and comparing myself. And because that only leads to more depression, more anxiety, more worrying about things that you cannot fix and you should not be trying to fix anyway. I mean, there is so much in the world that needs fixing, but your body is not one of them. And also, have you seen a breast implant surgery? Because I've seen multiple, and it is disgusting and horrible the way it's mutilation. It's another form of female genital mutilation. And it's disgusting. It's like watching a horror movie. I genuinely was sick to my stomach watching that surgery, which I had to watch as part of my medical training. You're literally cutting apart your breast, putting artificial pieces of plastic into it and sewing it all up again. And that sort of thing, that belongs in horror movies, not in reality, as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, let me come back to the science behind it, because this is not about me venting, this is about me educating you so that you can change your thoughts and then your behaviors. So causes and risk factors. So as with everything, it's always multiple different causes. So one aspect is biological. It's about how your brain chemistry works, and also genetics. There are genetic tendencies because of your DNA and what you inherit from your parents, your ancestors. You get to have you will have a certain tendency towards these traits, and that can apply across mental health in general. So just like certain physical diseases like diabetes, etc., there is a genetic component. In the same way, mental health, there is a genetic component. Then there's psychology. It's about trauma, childhood trauma, teasing, bullying, especially amongst children. I mean, it's ridiculous how cruel children can be. I've been bullied during school, and those scars you carry with you. Like, for example, one girl that I was sitting, we were lab partners or desk partners, and she kind of, when I sat down, she would plug her nose and, lean away and make a remark about how I smell. And that was never true, but that trauma I carried with me for years and years, and I used to use so much deodorant and perfume. Like, I was kind of, that stayed with me for years until very recently, that I used to feel like I would drown myself in deodorant and perfume, and I'd always carry on deodorant with me because I was always worried that I smell. So what I want to say is, those things, first of all, you need to understand the reason for that child or that teenager saying that. The root of it is jealousy. People are cruel when they're jealous, when they're angry, when they're hurt, healed when they're unhealed, when they have their own wounds, and it makes them feel better to pass on their pain. I don't believe in that. That's why I am the generational curse breaker in my family. We've got generations of abuse. I broke that curse, and I healed, and I refuse to carry that on to the next generation. So when I have kids, I will not be treating them the way that my parents treated me, the way their parents treated them. Again, I don't want to keep talking about this because I've talked about this in detail in another podcast. Anyways, this is how you can carry your past trauma, past sort of bullying and those insecurities into your adult life. And recognizing that is the first step towards actually healing yourself and being able to be happy with your body. There's also the element of perfectionism, which plays in such a big role, and it's actually the biggest thing that keeps you stuck and paralyzed. In my personal experience, this is so true, because a lot of the time I just want things to be perfect, and I stop myself, I sabotage myself because of that. And it's so unhealthy to do that. But this is part of the psychology behind. That's why we are not happy with how we look, because we want us to be perfect. But we need to realize that the perfection that we are comparing ourselves to is not even real. For example, I was recently told that the people who post like modeling pictures or whatever, a lot of them use filters that you can actually change your body shape, so you make yourself look more perfect than you are. And even those people who look perfect to our eyes are unhealthy. Anorexia nervosa is so common amongst people, and I see that. I see actresses who are gorgeous when they first in their first movies, because they've got a beautiful shape, and then after they become famous and successful, they start starving themselves, and they lose that beauty and happiness and that skill because they compare themselves. They feel the pressure to be a certain size, and that pressure is put on them by the people around them and also by themselves. And this kind of ties into the third category of causes of this. It's cultural, because it's pressure from the unrealistic beauty standards that are artificial. It's not even real. And also from social media, comparing yourself to other people, not and always chasing what that ideal that is not even real. You're literally chasing an illusion. So in terms of treatment, it's like I said, it's about cognitive behavioral therapy, and that is something that you don't have to wait to be diagnosed or to go to an official therapist. There is so much information out there on the internet, on social media, all over the place that you can access. You don't even need money. You can do this for free. You can educate yourself for free. There are so many tricks to this that there's so much content available. There are also, go to a library, get a book from the library. You don't need to pay anything, and you can learn. There are audiobooks. There's so much available. There are self-help books. It's all available. All you gotta do is look for it. Spend 10 minutes less scrolling on social media. There's an app actually called Nibble that gives you bite-sized content, like information, educate you using on any topic that you want. I personally use it for psychology because it's convenient for me to it's just something that doesn't take a lot of time, and it's just bite-sized, hence the name Nibble, pieces of information that I can take in when I'm out and about busy, and it's something that you can fit into your busy schedule, and it's time that you spend away from social media, where you're actually being bombarded with these ideals of beauty and etc. that just doesn't, is just meant to create income for the beauty industry, basically. If it's severe, obviously you may need to take antidepressants, but again, I'm not confident on how they work and whether they work at all and whether they're worth the side effects, because like I said, I've gone through the medical training and I've spoken to the doctors who are doing research in this, and they don't see that these medications work the way they thought they used to work. So I don't know what went on with the pharmaceutical industry there. I'm very distrustful of medications. It could just be the placebo effect. So be aware of that. Don't think that medication is going to solve your problems. It's really, really not. I personally did not use, I had depression and anxiety, and I didn't use any medication for it. I basically just, I did it by myself. I just through lifestyle changes, and I do CBT on myself while I'm swimming, and that has been extremely helpful. And thinking and walk in motion, your body while it's in motion is much more happy. It's much more sort of relax. It's using up that excessive energy that comes from you, that is feeding into your anxiety and worries, and incorporating a bit of exercise, eating healthy food, and making that into a daily thing does wonders at preventing the really bad depressive episodes. Then you should lean on your support system, have self-help strategies, have your support groups, your friends, people you can talk to. Talking itself is so therapeutic. Pets, animals, extremely therapeutic. Find out ways to reduce stress, however that looks to you. It's always individual. It depends on each person, how they feel, and that's pretty much what I've got to say about body dysmorphia. I will be posting things regularly, different conditions, and if there's something that you would like me to cover in particular, I'm more than happy to do that. And if you also want to book a session with me, I'm also happy to. I have that in my description. Check it out, the link. If you just fill in the Google form, I'll get in touch with you to book an appointment, or if you just want a sort of video recording sent over, that's fine as well. And I don't charge. I don't like to charge for what I do, but I accept donations. So, because I am trying to make my own living and after surviving trauma, I ask for donations, which could be in terms of money, or I have an Amazon wish list, so you can buy something from there, whatever you prefer. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.